Hello, welcome to OnQA. In this session, we are going to talk about the Selenium WebDriver setup and installations. In the previous sessions, we have talked about all the fundamentals of Selenium WebDriver. So by this time, we know what is Selenium WebDriver, how does the Selenium WebDriver work, and where do we get started, and how do we get started to work with the Selenium WebDriver, and the things that we required before getting started with the Selenium WebDriver. Since we know that to get started with the Selenium WebDriver, there are three things that we need to set up: the Java, the Eclipse, and the Selenium API download and configuration or setup. Since we know that, now let's go and learn step by step all about how do we set up and install the things required to get started with the Selenium WebDriver. So let's get started. And the agenda in this session is too simple to talk about Selenium WebDriver and the different things that we need to set up and install like Java, Eclipse and Selenium WebDriver. Once everything is done, let's configure together and ready to go and create the first test using the Selenium WebDriver. So that is the agenda. So let's go and get started. So I don't need to define again what is a Selenium, how does the Selenium work, where do we get it, what is the logic behind. But let me define again for the simplicity in a simple single definition, and then we go from how do we get started. Selenium WebDriver is an automation testing tool, or it's a set of API, application programming interface, which is used for testing web applications across different browsers, different operating systems. And Selenium WebDriver can be implemented using different programming technologies like Java, C Sharp, or Python, Ruby, PHP, or many other languages. So this is the fundamental, simplest way to define the Selenium WebDriver. It's a free, open source, and it can support on any platform, it can support on any browser, it controls the browser, it simulates the user activities. So that is the simplest way to understand the Selenium WebDriver. Since we know the Selenium WebDriver, the functionality, the what and how and where and which, now let's get started to download all the things that we required and to set up them. So what are the things we required? First of all, the thing that which is mostly needed is the Java. We need the Java and that Java to be installed, set up in our machine. The second thing what we required is the Eclipse. Eclipse is an editor. Eclipse is one of the powerful, best, easiest utilizable tool, an editor which can be used to script Java programming, which can be used to script even the WebDriver programming. And we need Java. On top of that, we need Eclipse. Once we have the Eclipse, the third one what we need is the Selenium WebDriver client driver or API. Once we have these three, we are good to configure together and to get started. And where do we find the Java? Java can be found in the Oracle Corporation website because Java belongs to Oracle. And where can we find the Eclipse? Eclipse is an open source tool again. We don't need to pay. Java is free, Eclipse is free, and Selenium is free. And we are working on full open source technology. So we can download from Java from Oracle Corporation. We can download Eclipse from Eclipse official website, and then we can download Selenium from Selenium official website. So let me just go all the pages, all the tools. So this is the Java path and this is the Eclipse. Eclipse can be found from Eclipse official site, and then we have the Selenium WebDriver. So let's go to those pages. So Java can be found here. This is the location where you can download, and Selenium WebDriver can be found here. Since we are using Java, so this is the API that we need to download. And for Eclipse, let's go to Eclipse official site, and this is the place where we can get and download the Eclipse. Now let's get started and set up one by one.